All right, here we go. Yay. Okay, so from last week, hi everybody, I'm Alicia McPeak, and this is week 2 of our high yielding questions training. My favorite subject in the whole world. So just as a review from last week, and we've kind of touched on this in our pre-talk, don't be invested in the outcome. If you have conversations that you decided you weren't going to be invested in the outcome, there's a huge difference. I was going to just mute you, Monique. How can I add value to your life when you're having the conversation? Asking, how can I add value to this person? I really want to get to know them. I need to find out their needs. And then you go into next steps. Your conversations lead to invitations that lead to presentations, and they don't always happen at that same moment. And again, back to what you were saying before, Vicki, this gets us out of that salesy place. We want to get to Juice Plus, and we want to hurry up and talk about Juice Plus, and then we want to tell them everything there is to know about Juice Plus. That's when we get to be that salesperson, and that you can tell by people's body language. They're going to take a step back. They're going to start averting their eyes. They might even cross their arms. You can feel that shift in energy, and if you ever feel that shift in energy, that's when you got to go, okay, hold on, let me ask another question, because I'm about to blow this thing. So I want to find out who they are, what makes them tick, what are their health goals, what do they love, hate, frustrated, or committed to, what are they concerned about, what do they enjoy. So those are the kind of questions that you can be asking. And if you're having conversations regularly, you're going to find out that a conversation about health and or money come up very regularly. And then when you get really good at this and this becomes a part of who you are, then you get really good at asking the questions that make those things actually come up. Then you can actually direct the conversation. That comes later on. At first, you just want to start being able to have good conversations. And then when you extend the invitation, you extend a genuine compliment first, why you thought of them, and the action you want them to take. And that's mostly if you're actually inviting somebody to an event that's separate from just having an initial conversation. Does that make sense to you guys? I want to make sure that you know that's kind of a separate. Like if you were to call somebody up or to send somebody a message about coming to Goose's Acre this week, that's the kind of invitation that you would extend. Whereas if you're having a first time contact or interaction with somebody, what the other parts of what we're talking about is what we're looking to do. And remember, this is not about you or what you know. You just need to be interested, not interesting. And let's see, what else do we have? And then we went over some questions to ask, but I'm going to go over more of those in depth today. But first, I want to talk about, do you guys remember me saying last week that it's really important that you know somebody's pain before you offer them a solution? Okay. This is such an important piece of what we do when we're asking, or when we're having Juice Plus conversations, not just asking questions, we're having Juice Plus conversations. And everywhere in our life, we can sit there, we could be watching somebody in our life feed their children McDonald's every single day, and we know for a fact that they need Juice Plus. In fact, we actually know everybody needs Juice Plus, right? Everybody needs Juice Plus, but we need them to tell us that they need Juice Plus and why they need Juice Plus. Does that make sense to you guys? So even if you're watching your best friend feed her kids McDonald's every day, and you know they're not getting any fruits and vegetables unless she tells you that she's concerned about the fact that her kids aren't getting any fruits and vegetables, you've got nothing to talk to her about.
Yeah.
That's how these conversations are great, because I use the Clay Stevens analogy that he said, where he said, yeah, I really want to take dance lessons one day, but on a scale of 1 to 10, the importance level of that for him was a number 2. So yeah, he may say he wants to take dance lessons, but it's only number 2. It's not his pain. There's no desire there. So even if I say, I know how to get you to a place where you can take dance lessons, it's not a priority for him. It's not important enough for him to do something about it. So even finding out how serious somebody is about that, which is kind of the next level we're going to start talking about today, how serious they are about something that you think is their pain. Because sometimes somebody will say, yeah, I want to take dance lessons one day. And you're like, oh, yeah, how serious are you about that? Oh, yeah, I'll get to it one day. Well, that's not very serious. Versus somebody says, oh, my gosh, I want to take dance lessons. Do you know any place I can take dance lessons? 2 different things, right? Okay. So we're going to start trying to turn these conversations into Juice Plus conversations. And we're going to do that by asking some more specific questions. Okay. So when you're talking to people or contacting people, when you're out and about, what would your business look like if you had 2 conversations every day, brand new conversations with brand new people, like real genuine conversations that might lead into Juice Plus conversations? How would that change your business? At the end of the week, would you have 10 new contacts probably? And that's 40 new contacts in a month, 100 new contacts in a year. Is that going to change things for your business?
Yeah.
So that's what we want to get to. Here's one of my things that I have difficulty with. I actually know how to do this, but I still have to walk out my door and be intentional about it. If I get in front of somebody, then yes, I probably will most likely most of the time have these kind of conversations. But if I don't walk out my front door saying, I'm going to make 2 contacts today, who are my 2 contacts going to be? I might have to have 3 or 4 or 5 conversations to get 2 actual contacts today. Right? Or I'm going to have 2 good conversations today. We've got to get intentional about what we're going to do with this. It's great to have these skills, but to get good at these skills, you got to practice them. So getting intentional about having these conversations, which was the whole homework assignment last week, really get out there, start asking questions, get out of your comfort zone, get comfortable asking random questions to random people. And then let's start becoming intentional about it. So now we're going to go out and have conversations that we're intentional about, and we're going to start trying to help them become Juice Plus conversations. But go back to not being invested in that outcome from the beginning. Okay? That's the number one priority that you guys have to get in your head, is not to be invested in that outcome. Be open to an outcome, because not every conversation is going to turn into a Juice Plus conversation. Jennifer Myers talks about it like she goes out fishing. It's like trolling. You know, you go out and you cast out your, that one didn't stick. Okay, cast it again. And you might cast a few times before you actually get a fish. I'll tell you guys a funny little story. Recently, Kenneth sent me a message that, who's the #1 female income earner in Europe? What is her name? Katie Raby? Okay. Well, when Kenna, a couple years ago when she joined my team, my daughter Kenna had went and liked Katie. And Katie didn't know she's a Juice Plus person. She didn't know she was my daughter. So Katie trolled her. She sent her a message on Facebook. And it was not a Juice Plus conversation. She didn't mention Juice Plus at all. She just went out and contacted her. And it didn't go anywhere. Kenna didn't respond. But if she does 50 of those a day on Facebook, somebody's going to respond, right? So that was really eye-opening for me. But that's what we want to do all the time, everywhere we go. Become intentional about contacting, having conversations, asking these questions, and not all of them are going to turn into Juice Plus conversations. But more of them will, the better you get at this. Janice, is it possible for me to share my screen? I can, can't I? Okay. I didn't know if I could, since you're hosting. This is a document that I put it together a long time ago. It's actually still on the Hearts for Health page. I went and pulled it up from there. So you guys can still get it on there. And I still love this document. You can go into so many more, much deeper questions when it comes to high yielding questions, but the important thing is to start having conversations. I'm going to go back and recount the conversation that I had with the ultrasound tech at the doctor's office. Having an ultrasound, and I just start asking her how her day is, how her week's been. Has it been busy? She's coughing. I say something like, that's a really bad cough. Yeah, I've been having it forever. I can't go to the doctor. I can't afford to, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then ultimately I asked what is my favorite question, which is right here, the 4th from the bottom. Have you tried anything natural for that? Is that not going to turn into a Juice Plus conversation most likely if you ask that question? Have you tried anything natural for that? And I love this question. And she goes, we try really hard to eat well. We try to eat, fruits and vegetables. And then she told me all the reasons that she struggled with it. And then she went into some other particular health issues that she had to do with depression and some other things. And I said to her at this point, I've had the same kind of issues that you have, and I found something that's really helped me. I think it'll help you too. And she's like, what is it? And I said, well, it's Juice Plus. And I handed her my business card, and I said, look, if you text me at that phone number, I'll send you my mobile business card. And it has all kinds of videos so you can learn more. And I'm telling you, she texted me right there and followed me up to the front, waiting for me to text her the business card back. She wanted to know. But did I tell her Janice's story and Doreen's story and Diane's story? I didn't. That goes back to that not over talking and not overselling. it becomes overselling when you overtalk. I told her one thing that was specific to her. I think I mentioned fruits and vegetables and how easy it was to get fruits and vegetables in, because that was the issue, right? When I said, did we try anything, have you tried anything natural for that? Yes, I've tried. We've tried to eat fruits and vegetables. It's difficult. It's expensive. So I covered that and just told her a bit of my story, a small little bit of my story, that it had helped me with that. I think it would help her too. Okay. And so that's a really important key to doing this well also, is don't oversell it. Once you find a reason to share Juice Plus with them, share Juice Plus with them, and then stop. Change the conversation. And I think with this new mobile business card, sharing Juice Plus has become the easiest that it's ever been in the 5 years that I've been in this business. Because if you do it the way I just described to you, I said, text me your name. You have their name, their phone number. You're going to communicate with them primarily through text messaging these days, because that's how people communicate mostly. And so you have everything you need. They have your information. They can look at as much or as little of it as they want. Both of the women that I contacted that week at the doctor's office both responded to my text messages right away, have responded since. One of them I've become friends with on Facebook. They haven't gotten to anything yet, but I developed a good enough rapport that they were, it's stuck, right? You know what I mean? Because Doreen and Janice, you guys remember, and feel free to chime in, but back in the days when we were having to try and get them to give us their phone number so that we could text them a video or something. And that was revolutionary at that time. But it's a lot harder than this, what I'm talking about. And so this was so comfortable, moving from asking these questions, finding the need, and then offering to share my business card. Both these women were so excited for me to send it to them. And that's what I want you guys to feel. I want you to be able to walk away from that going, they're following you. They're waiting for you. They're anxious for you to give them the information. And that happened for the primary reasons that I keep emphasizing here. 1, I was not invested in the outcome. 2, I asked plenty of questions to find out a need. 3, I told them something very specific to their need and nothing more. I didn't go overboard, right? And I had my next step, my intention in mind. And today I was having the conversation with the ultrasound tech. I was thinking, okay, so I'm just going to ask a few questions. Let's see where it goes. That's my intention. Well, and as it continued to go on, I could see more and more needs building. And then I went, well, I'll just throw Juice Plus out there and see where it goes. But I had no investment in it. I was just, okay, I was casting. I was fishing like we talked about before. Okay. So Doreen, do you want to add anything right now? I can't see your face because the way I'm sharing the screen now. So I can't see what you're doing. She and I talked a little bit about, she did a lot of this with me for a long time. So we talked a little bit about her input as well. So we didn't get a chance to touch base together beforehand. So
I like your way of introducing the mobile business card. I was trying to figure out how to use something like that, but you just give your regular card, say, text me your name, and I'll send you this.
I've also handed them my telephone and said, here, text me your name, when I didn't have my other business card. Here, just text me your name. I'll send you my mobile business card. And actually, I like that better because then they can't just take my card and put it in their pocket thinking they have what they need.
Yeah.
If I hand them my phone and say, here, text me your number and your name real quick, and I actually like that better. I still have my business cards. I still carry them, but I prefer to do it that way.
I don't even have business cards, and I never have for that very reason, because I know that I would take that. It would be an out for me just to give it to somebody instead of getting their information. So I've always gotten their information. And now with the mobile business cards, it's easy because you're like, well, let me just text you your mobile business, instead of saying, here's my business card, say, let me just text you my mobile business card. And
revolutionary.
Right then and there, I give them my phone and I open up the contacts and have them save it in there. And I'll say, I'll send it to you right away. So
I don't have them. I don't save it in there. I just have them. I open to messages and have them put their phone number and message me their name. So when I get the message, it has their name. And at that time I can just go up to the top, hit info and save that number, put their name and where I met them. Cause that's important.
Which is probably smarter anyway, because there's times where people give me their email address instead of their phone number when I open up contacts, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
So it's probably much smarter that way. So
this is better than a business card. It's so much better. Janice, wouldn't you agree? Have you been having it?
Absolutely. I use mine all the time. And, one thing, there's a couple different ways you can send it. You can send the actual business card to them, but it comes from your business card phone number. Does that make sense? What I do is I always ask them, I say, I'm going to put your contact in my phone. I'm going to send you my mobile business card. And I just get their name and phone number and I put it in my contacts right then. And then I have in Evernote, I have saved the text that I use and the link to my mobile business card. And within the text, it says, be sure, here's my mobile business card. Be sure and click the red Let's Connect button so that I know you got it. And then it has the link to my business card and I send that to them, and that way it comes from me. So if they reply back to that, they're replying to me instead of my business card number.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. I don't send it with the phone number. I just do it. I haven't done the Evernote thing. I think that's brilliant. I need to go do that. I just have it saved to my home screen. I just go to it and I don't hit the send button. I mean, you can hit the send button from there and it does the URL, not from that phone number, that funky phone number
Yeah. And I just have that same, because I send the same text to everyone. So I just have it saved. So I go in Evernote, I copy it, I just paste it in the text message and boom, it's done.
Yeah, that's good. Everything you can do to make it easier. So, okay. So let's talk about the specific kinds of conversations you can have. Let's get a little bit more specific. I'm going to go back to share my screen so you guys can see. Okay. So on this list here, this high yielding questions, Vicki, on any of these conversations this week, can you kind of share how one of them went so we can, like some questions that you asked and kind of a direction that it went, so we can see if we can take some of these questions and take it to another level?
Well, I actually kind of took your suggestion and I just did it while I was at the grocery store one day. Just somebody totally cold that I did not know. Yep. And yeah, I just said, hi, how are you doing? And, she was was real busy. So I wanted to do it sort of in a stressful situation just to see kind of, how things went. And I, said to her, are you busy? You're kind of busy, y'all are kind of busy. And she said, yeah. And I said, how's your week been going? And she said, crazy, and I said, is everything okay? And she said, well, my sons are, they're getting ready to graduate. So, and I said, oh, that sounds great. And she had like a line, and I could tell that she was kind of getting frustrated that I was talking to her, but I just kind of pressed on and I said, well, how old are your sons? And she said, well, my son is, 16, and then I have a little, he's going to be going into like middle school. And I said, oh, that's great. And, I said, do they play sports? And so I was, asking about, the kids. And so I think you said 5 questions. So I think that I had done my 5 questions. So that's kind of where I was there. And so I said, well, thanks. It was great to talk. And then I noticed that she had her name tag on, and her name was Ethel. And I said, it was great talking to you, Ethel. I always see you at the grocery stores. I'll see you next week. So that was sort of where I was.
When Doreen and I were talking yesterday about how when you're in a situation where you do see somebody often, that gives you a little bit of a chance to build a little bit of rapport. And that is a situation where it's hard to get into any kind of really deep conversation.
Yeah.
But it's great to ask people questions, and you never know. It still could come up,
Yeah.
But it is a lot harder when there's a line and they're rushed and,
Yeah.
to say, so have you considered and what's kept you from and all that kind of stuff when, when you're standing there in the grocery line. But it does give you a chance to keep building up that rapport, and you can learn enough about them over the time that you can say, last time I was here, you said whatever. You said you're really sick of working here and you're looking for something new. Is that still true for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you say, you can look at here's the list. I love these questions. So what's kept you from looking for something already? Oh, I just haven't had time. What kind of things are you looking for? What are you open to doing, or anything like that? And then you can after you ask them, because then now you're down to a certain topic, right? And that's where the reason I wanted you to ask 5 questions is before is to get to where you could just get to where you're asking multiple questions instead of the basic questions. But
Yeah.
here, you start finding a need, it's good to ask 3 to 5 questions after you find that need too. Think about it. If somebody said, yeah, I hate my job, I'm looking for a new one. You said, hey, you know what? I have something, I think I might have something for you. That would be too soon, right?
Mhm.
But if you asked, oh, you're looking for something new, what are you looking for something in? And then they said, well, you know, I've been going to school for nutrition. I'd really like to find something in going that direction. Oh, really? What are your options? Have you found anything? Or what are your options? You know, you can ask one question. Sometimes I ask 2 questions. You don't need to do that are one question. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? And then you could ask, and you know, another question. No, I haven't found anything, but it's really my passion. It's really what I want to do. She said passion, what she wants to do, right?
Right.
Then you can say, well, you know, I work in the wellness field, and I'm always looking for great people like you to work with me who are interested in this very thing. You know, I'd love to share more if you're open. But you've asked several questions once you found that need. And boy, Doreen, wasn't that the hardest thing in the world when we first started doing this, waiting to jump into the Juice Plus conversation after we found a need?
Oh yeah, but it took us forever to find the need because we didn't know what we were
It
doing.
did. It did.
Every conversation was like an hour. And then we started talking about Juice Plus, so we had to set up another time to talk to him to talk about Juice Plus.
Yeah. And so now 5 years down the line, we can do this in about 5 minutes or less. But back then it took us an hour to get to the place. Yeah, that is so true. So, you know, this is why I send you out to practice asking questions because the more you do, the more second nature it's going to be. And then you're going to start hearing those things and you're going to start honing in on them. And believe me, when I say we've had more unsuccessful conversations that have never gone anywhere, or we might have even gotten contact information, but it never went anywhere because we weren't good at it. Whereas today, when we have conversations, they're pretty darn productive. They almost always go somewhere. And we've built enough of a rapport with somebody that it's a meaningful event that's going to go somewhere else. And I have to say, I think Doreen got good at that part of it before I did. I might have been good at asking all the questions, but I think she got good at honing in, turning it into a Juice Plus conversation and building that rapport way before I learned how to do that. And part of that is because she genuinely cares about people. I'm not saying I don't genuinely care about people, but is natural for her to genuinely care about people. How about that? I cared about people. I just had to learn to project that to people. So, you know, they were in the forefront of her mind. They're always in the forefront of her mind. How can she add massive value to somebody's life? Do we have a product that adds massive value to people's lives? Do you believe that? Are you rock solid in that? Do you know that everybody needs Juice Plus and it's an answer for them? Do you know that you're actually helping them when you give them the information about Juice Plus? Do you believe that? Those are things that you've got to get deep into your gut. And you do that by hanging out with us and listening to the stories and watching the webinars and the videos and listening to Voxer and listening to all that kind of stuff. That's how you build that belief, right? That does take time, but I know that when I'm talking to somebody, here I am in front of them. I'm going to ask them questions. If it leads to Juice Plus conversation, great. If I get to the point where I get to offer Juice Plus, then that's a really exciting thing for me because I know that Juice Plus is really going to help them. I know it. If they choose to, jump on board with Juice Plus. And so being really committed and confident in yourself and your product and your business is so important in this process too. It's just going to come as we go, as we do this kind of stuff. So does anybody want to throw out there so we can play with some of these questions, a hypothetical or an actual situation where they were trying to have a conversation, didn't go quite like they wanted it to?
Can I ask a question real quick? Is there a way that we can get a copy of these questions so we can kind of go over them?
This is already on the Hearts for Health team page.
It is?
Yeah, it's under files.
So Alicia, did you point out last week, I'm sorry, I haven't listened to the whole call yet, that asking a minimum of 5 questions, and once you feel like you've asked enough questions, ask 2 more?
Well, what I just said just now, I sent them away to ask 5 questions. And
Okay.
then what I said was once you find a need, then ask 3 to 5 more questions.
Okay.
Same, any kind of rule of thumb in that realm. So what she's saying is what we did last week. You guys all went away to ask 5 questions, right? In that 5-question process, you probably found a need. What she's saying is you don't jump on that need after those first 5 questions. Once you find that need, you need to ask 2, 3, 4, 5 more questions. It can be a minimum of 2. Really,
That's
I think
the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Because you want to jump on it right away, but it's the hardest part to sit back and say, okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me dig deep, a little bit deeper. So.
And then I'll go back to the other nurse that I contacted that same week that I contacted, the one I just talked about. She was same thing. Just how are you doing? What's going on? Oh, some allergies and just I don't even remember how all it went. But the next thing I know, she's telling me about her daughter has eczema and asthma and really struggles this time of year, and it's really bad. And I asked her, what have you tried for that? Have you tried anything natural for that? And she's like, and then she I could tell she was open to the idea, but she's perking up, like, oh, is there something more natural that I can do? Because she's probably at the point where she's tried everything. And I just said, you know what? A friend of mine had a daughter with severe eczema and asthma. She had huge issues with it, and she found something that's made a big difference for her. It's called Juice Plus, and I just gave her my phone and asked her to put her number in. I'll send you my mobile business card. Actually, you know what? I sent her Michelle's flipogram. I didn't send her my mobile business card. That was the most appropriate thing for her. But I only told her that one story. I didn't tell her. And for me, it made my hair grow, and I didn't have depression anymore. And I didn't do all that. I told her only about Michelle. I think that's really important. We had gotten, so we were just telling everybody everything. And we do that really bad when we're brand new too. Like, just want to tell them everything. We want to convince them right now, and they need to know why they want to give us their number, because we have all these reasons, we have all this research, we have all these stories, and it's a mistake to do this. It's a huge mistake. You're going to talk people in and right back out again. They're going to start closing down because you become salesy. So back to questions. Anybody have any scenarios that they'd like to play with?
Well, I have a comment.
Okay.
When and I still have the problem with this. When I'm asking the questions and someone gives me a need, and I want to jump on it, but I say, no, I can't do that, and I go brain dead. I don't know what other questions to ask. I'm just stuck.
It's important to have 1 or 2 go-to questions after you find a need. Like, my favorite go-to question is, have you ever tried anything natural for that?
Yeah.
That is the best. I think put that question in your back pocket. That's like the best question in the
That's
world.
what I have to do, is get something in my mind, because I've been stuck a couple times that way.
And if you can tailor the question, like somebody said, they really wanted to travel the world, and they gave us you can ask all these questions. Let's use travel the world. Okay. Say you're having a conversation. Somebody says they want to travel the world. And then you said something like question number 2 here. Well, what's kept you from that, traveling, being able to travel the world? And they said, I don't have any money. I just don't have enough money. And then I would say something like, well, do you think one day you'll have enough money to travel the world like you want to? How would your life be different if you were able to travel the world like you want to? How serious are you about traveling the world like you want to? So what I'm hearing is, if you had the money, you would really like to travel here, there, and this place and that place, and you'd take your wife and your kid with you, and you'd love your kid having those kind of experiences, but you're really struggling with finding a financial means to take care of that. Is that correct? And then they'd agree with me, right? And then you think, you know what, I think I might have something that could help you with that. And by now they're wanting to find out what it is. Like, what do you have that could help me? You have found my need. You have found what my desires of my heart. How can you help me with that? So, and then you tailor the next response to them, or tailor a question to them. Picking up on this, I said, do you have ways to create extra income to make that happen, or some kind of? That's another great money question right there. If you find if they have a heart desire, not a lot of people's desire even is just to make more ends meet, be able to pay off debt. So if somebody told you they were in debt, excessively in debt, or in debt at all, they're having trouble making ends meet, they're living paycheck to paycheck, wouldn't a great question be, so do you have any options for earning some extra money? Well, what's kept you from doing that? Yeah, I could go get a part-time job, but what's kept you from doing that? I don't feel like I have any more hours left in the week to give, and I hate being away from my kids. Yeah, I could see that would be an issue. So what I'm hearing is you really do need to make some extra money, and if you had a way that kept you around your kids, that might be something that would be helpful for you. Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. And then you say, you know what, I might have something that would help you. I would say probably either my story, somebody else's story that was similar, or that I help people do that. That's another way to say it. You know what, this is exactly what I help people do. I help them be able to stay home with their kids and earn some additional income. So it's a little variations on a lot of the same thing, but having one or two core questions, either about the money follow-up questions or product follow-up questions that are going to take you down that path. Have you tried anything natural for that? Is going to take me down a natural path, isn't it? That's why it's my number one favorite question when I get to that point. So if you say, well, do you have any options for creating that additional income? That's a good back pocket question for money. What are your options for creating some additional income? There's your question. Now you have one in your right pocket for the product and one in your left pocket for money, okay? And that's where you start. If you have a question, a go-to question, then you won't go brain dead when you get to that point.
Right. I'll have one in my right pocket, one in my left pocket.
Yeah. One product over here, one business over here. But also, Gary, just really being genuine. So let's say you found a need, okay? Asking questions like, how long do you wanted to do that? What would your life be like if you were able to do that? Have you ever done anything like that before? Those are not real specific questions that are necessarily going to actually take you to the next point, but it's adding enough interest and value in that conversation that they feel that you care. And if you're genuinely asking those questions in a way that you do care, it's very easy to be interested in things that you don't know a whole lot about. And probably what they're telling you is something you don't know a whole lot about. So ask questions with that in mind. Learn more. I want to learn more. I want to learn more. I want to learn more.
Good point.
Do you find that people come on board as representatives before or at the same time that they start selling Juice Plus? Or do they? I'm sorry.
I think that depends on the person. I think it just depends on the person. And that also, I think, depends on finding a need. You know, if you have enough of a conversation with somebody, you're going to know if, like that girl I talked to, the cardiologist or cardiogram, whatever she is, echo tech, whatever. She told me a financial and physical need that she had when I had a conversation with her. Well, I didn't jump on the financial one. I jumped on the Juice Plus one. But I know that it's in my back pocket. I know that she's got a financial need now. And so once she really understands what Juice Plus is, it's going to be easy for me to go to the next step. So will she start? She could start the same day.
So when you talk to her again, are you going to work both of those ends at the same time? Would that be your approach?
No, I'll start with the product first. Now that doesn't mean once she understands the product, I won't also offer her the business at the same time. I very well could, and I most likely will, because I already know she's got a financial issue. But I won't offer her both at the same time. I'll get her to fall in love and want to buy the product first.
Yeah.
And then she goes, yeah, I really like the product. Well, you know, what's stopping you from getting started today? Well, I just don't have the money. So then I would take it into, well, you know, I have a way of, to help earn some extra money to help pay for your product. And would you be open to learning more about that?
Okay.
So I already know she's got a financial need. And honestly, I am like, if I am trying to find ways to get people to get in front of their friends and family right away, even if they haven't started the product yet. And so that we can possibly turn them into a team member quickly. And in this circumstance, it's a perfect circumstance. She doesn't have the money. She's got a huge nutritional need, and she doesn't have the money. She doesn't have money to go to the doctor. How is she going to have money to go, take Juice Plus?
Right.
But I'm not going to tell her that. I'm going to let her tell me that.
Right.
Even at this point, knowing what I know, I still need her to tell me what's stopping her so I can overcome it with the right answer that may be appropriate and may work for her.
Okay.
Let's just go through the list, and then we can come up with some scenarios as we go through it. So have you ever considered owning your own business? Have you ever considered trying to find something natural to help you with that? What's kept you from owning your own business? What's kept you from finding ways to earn additional income? What's kept you from trying something new or natural for that? What's caused you to, what caused you to take that route in your career path? That's a great question if you think about it. If somebody's talking about their career or the direction they're going, you say, I'm curious to know, why did you choose that as a career is basically what we're saying here. If you ask that, you could learn a lot about somebody asking, what made you choose that career path? And then so what my hearing is a great summary, which is real important sometimes to make sure they know you're hearing them, but you also know you're hearing them. And what would you do with the extra? So somebody tells you that they'd really like to earn extra money, and then you say, oh, really? Do you have any options for earning extra money? Well, what would you do if you could earn extra money? What would you do with the extra money? And why do you think that is another one of my favorite questions, especially, Gary, if you don't know what to say next.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? That's a great, because then you have more information, and then you can have another question after that, right?
Right.
I remember being at this point where I had no idea what questions to ask, and this has helped me so much. But now it is so natural for me to have really great, genuine conversations that go someplace. But the only way it's going to get natural is for you to have a lot of conversations. A lot of conversations. Okay, what would your life be like if? What would your life be like if you could stay home with your kids and still earn money? And what would your life be like if you could get out of debt? What would you do with that extra money? Oh, how serious are you about that? Did I just ask 3 questions? Then I might say, even before I said something else, I might say, or before offering my solution, I might say, so what I'm hearing is if you could get out of debt and have that extra money, you would, whatever this is. Is that right? That's question number 4, Gary. Do you see where we are? Okay. Then I could say, well, if I could show you a way to earn extra money and stay at home and be with your kids to help you get out of debt, would that be something you'd be open to? I just asked 5 questions. I haven't introduced Juice Plus yet. Yeah? Okay. Where are we? How serious are you about that? How serious are you about that's a really important question. That's like the scale of 1 to 10. Either one of those. Did I skip a bunch of questions here? I think I did. I need numbers beside them. Why do you think that is? Tell me more about that. Those are both really good. Keep the conversation going. On a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10 is also good when if you're trying to get somebody to go ahead and finish their order. Like if they've been at a presentation or something and you've got the order form in front of them. Or if you're checking back in with somebody on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in your thought process about joining the team? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about thinking about joining our team or something like that? Then how serious are you? Does it make sense to you? This is the perfect question after a presentation. Did what Janice say make sense to you? Janice is presenting. How do you see that it could benefit you and / your family? Do you see how it could benefit your family? Do you see how it could benefit you? If you know something specific about them, do you see how it could benefit your autoimmune disease? Do you see how it could benefit others? These questions for me are questions that are leading up for me to ask somebody to look at the business. Could you see yourself doing this, sharing this, eating this, being a part of our team, doing presentations? I don't know. It depends on how well you know them or what you know about them. And then here's I remember this was Janice's question that I loved. Have they, meaning doctors, given you any advice on nutrition? Ooh, that's a great question. If somebody's telling you all about what their doctors are doing, have they given you any advice on nutrition? No, they haven't suggested anything. Well, are you open to learning more about something natural that could help? Or even before that, have you tried anything natural that could help that? What stopped you from trying anything natural that would help that? Now would you be open to something natural that would help that? And then how did it work for you? Like if somebody said, people come up against this a lot of times. Yeah, I've been in network marketing before, and you can tell there's something, going on there. Oh, and saying something like, oh my goodness, it sounds like there's a story there for a story there. Tell me more about that. How did it work for you? But it could also be about Juice Plus. Oh yeah, I've taken Juice Plus before. Oh yeah, how did it work for you? Oh, well, it didn't work at all. Oh yeah, how long did you take it for? I took it off and on for about 4 months. Oh, were you able to get consistent with it and take it every day? No, I never could get consistent with it. What was the biggest thing stopping you from being able to become consistent with it? I just couldn't remember. And Janice is my favorite from Janice. Well, did you ever think, hers is a little bit different, but I might say something like, well, did you ever think about putting it by your toothbrush? But I remember watching her talk to this doctor one time, and she said to him, he said he couldn't get in the habit of it. And she goes, do you brush your teeth every day? And he saw right away through her. He was like, okay, I see where you're going. She's like, well, you could just put it by your toothbrush. She said, you brush your teeth every day. You remember it. So, and then what's keeping you from getting started today? These are questions that are kind of what to do when you get on the diving board, Janice? I can't think. It's a place to step off from, a springboard. Yeah. It's a springboard for you to start being able to ask questions, but by no means are they necessarily the best questions or the right questions for any given circumstance. The right question in any given circumstance is the question that applies to that situation. And then being willing to be curious enough and wondering about how you can add massive value to that person's life, whether it ends up being Juice Plus or not. But if you do get to a Juice Plus conversation, asking a few more questions and then being able to know what your next step is going to be. So does everybody on here have a mobile business card?
No.
Yeah. No, not yet, Vicki?
I don't.
Okay.
Not yet.
So, well, if you don't have a mobile business card, first of all, I'd say what's stopping you from getting one. but beyond that, it really is easier. But if you don't, this is what we used to have to do. We'd have to find a need and then ask them to give us their contact information so we could send them a piece of information. And that's harder.
That's clumsy. It is.
This is so much easier. So I highly recommend it. Is it still $50 a year right now, Janice, for the first year?
14-day free trial, and then $49.99, I think, for a year.
I would so do this because it really has made. Doreen, what's your experience? Has it revolutionized what you're doing?
Oh yeah, it makes it so much easier. And I even asked people, like some friends or customers, their opinions on it before I committed to it, and they were in awe. They just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, yeah.
Because otherwise, Vicki, and here's our option. You can hand them something and hope they call you or text you one day, right?
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, maybe one out of
Right.
1,000, or
Yeah.
they might actually call you back. Although I can't. I know Janice did have somebody who kept her card on the board for many years and called her.
And she probably cleaned off her cabinet like a year later.
But that's not normal. That's unusual. So, and then the other option is for you to try and get them to give you, okay, so here I am having a conversation with Vicki, and I found out that you have a nutritional need. And I say, you know what, my friend Michelle's daughter had the same issue. Here, why don't you give me your phone number and I'll send you the flipogram? Or here, put your phone in here and text me your name and I'll send you the flipogram. Or here, Vicki, I know I just found out that you're an athlete and you run 60 miles a week and your nutrition is not as good as it should be. And so I say, well, here, Vicki, let me get your phone number and I'll text you a webinar by a doctor who talks all about this stuff. Or, hey, Vicki, you know what? I have a mobile business card that has a webinar and a video from a doctor who talks all about nutrition in relation to exercise. If you'll just text me your name, I'll send it right to you.
Yeah, I looked at Janice's mobile card last week. As soon as we got finished, I asked her about it, and I loved it. It was incredible. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, so Doreen, are you up for role playing with me?
Oh my goodness. It's 9:30, girl. I gotta go to bed.
One time. It'll take us like 3 minutes.
Okay.
One time. Let's get some value to these people. Okay, so somebody name the situation. Somebody pick the scenario where we are and what the conversation is going to be about. Gary, give us something.
In the grocery store.
Okay, in the grocery store.
Produce section.
And I'll be, am I going to be the contactor or the contacted? We're both equally good, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Doreen, you be the checker. I'll be the, okay?
Okay.
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 Okay, so this is fun. Hi, how's your day?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good. You been busy today?
Yeah, we've been swamped. It's nice. It's finally slowed down a bit.
You worked here a long time?
Yeah, I have for about 2 years now.
Oh, yeah? What got you into working at HEB?
You know, it has really good benefits, is what people told me, and it was a good company to work for, and I've experienced that.
Yeah, you have? So you really like it?
I do. I do.
Are you on the career path? Like, you know, going to go up into management and things like that with this?
I don't know if I've thought about that, but I like it right now.
You like it right now? Are you doing anything else besides HEB, going to school or anything like that?
I do. I go to school part-time. I'm in college.
Oh, what do you go to school for?
Well, I haven't decided that one either. Kind of undecided right now.
Do you have any children?
I do not. Mm-mm. No.
Oh, she's making it tough on me.
Get in your hip pocket.
Have you tried anything nutritional for that?
Oh, I'm really looking for them right now. No.
So what do you do in your spare time?
I like to play the guitar and just kind of hang out with my friends. And I really like to work out. I go to the gym probably about 5 days a week.
I can tell. Are you a runner?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like a runner. So how long have you been doing that? You should finally.
Yeah, I do run. I like weights more, but I do run sometimes.
Yeah, and you've been working out for how long?
Oh, geez. I guess I've been real serious about it for about a year.
Okay. So what about nutrition? Do you have a really good nutrition?
No, I can't say that I do.
Yeah. Are you one of those ones like I was that like as long as you're working out, you can eat whatever you want?
Oh, yeah. Just work out a little bit harder, right?
That's right. It's all calories in, calories out, right? That's what I thought. Then you get up to me about my age and things change. Things change. So you know what? I work for a company that allows you to flood your body with fruits and vegetables through these little juiced capsules. Does that sound like something that you know anybody that would be? Oh God, I've totally blown this one.
Rewind and start again.
I promise I am really good at this.
I'm going to close the door.
Okay. Where were we? So she works out.
You bored her. She left.
I told her 3 minutes and we're up to 3 right now too. So, okay. So she has made this one really tough. Quite honestly, I'd probably leave the grocery store because we're not going anywhere. Maybe she and I are both really tired. But okay. So back to, she works out, right? So, and we know she doesn't eat well, right? So let's see. I would probably say, you know, are you, goodness.
That's about like how I feel after a workout or, you know, recovery or that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So thank you, Doreen. So how's your recovery after your workouts?
I get sore quite often. Actually, when I hit it pretty hard, I get sore.
Do you have goals with your workouts? Are you going someplace with this?
Not any competitions, or I don't do any like races or anything like that, but I just go with my girlfriends and, you know, we just try to hit it as hard as we can each time.
Yeah. Do you ever think about what's happening to your body long term when you're exercising that hard and just kind of eating whatever you want?
No, not really.
Does it ever concern you? She's going to tell me no, watch.
Yeah.
If she tells me no, we've got to go make another contact. This fishing trip doesn't work. It's not working.
I haven't. I mean, would it affect me? I don't know. I've never heard anything like that.
Well, you know, have you ever seen like how people who are really athletic and all of a sudden they drop dead of a heart attack or something like that?
I have heard of that, like especially with running. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We always think because somebody's fit, they're healthy, but they don't necessarily coincide.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, what I do is I teach people about nutrition in regards to working out and being athletic and help them alleviate that kind of issue. Does that sound like something you'd be open to learning more about?
Yeah, you've kind of scared me a bit. So yeah, I think I should be able to open.
We are not sending this video out to anybody.
I try to tell you it's 9:30 at night. No, role playing is really good. It's just, it is hard when you're put on the spot like that and when it's not a real situation.
It is.
But I can tell you most of the time now, like grocery stores, I should have gone at it from a different angle and just been, because almost every single time I check out at the grocery store, the checker is asking me about something specific that I'm buying. Like, oh, you know, or these beets, what do you do with this? Or, oh, yeah, I've seen these. This is a new product. Is this good? You know, like whatever it is that I'm buying, it doesn't matter. Like they're constantly bringing up that conversation with me now. That seems to be very, very common. So I think they look at what you're buying too. So I feel like grocery stores have become easier to have those conversations.
If you notice, I want to tell you guys something though. If you notice, I tried to go down the route with her about her job and she wasn't going anywhere with that. And I did try to go down with her about who she was, what she did, her workout, all this kind of stuff. She really wasn't playing with me, which is okay because it actually is a really good situation where you can see that it doesn't always go quite like you want it to. I didn't have anywhere to go with her. I couldn't find her pain. To be truthful, I couldn't find her pain. Even when I threw it out there in the end, it wasn't going to stick. I could not find her pain. And that does happen sometimes. That if I'm not invested in the outcome of my conversations, I'm just having good conversations, getting to know a lot of different people, and that's okay. I'm not going to be upset that it didn't work in that grocery store line that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a lot of conversations. So, but she could have said, yeah, it's been a great day. Oh my gosh, you know, what do you do with these? What are these? What do you do with these? And we could have had a whole nother conversation, right?
Yeah.
You just never know. If you're just being genuinely concerned and caring and putting their needs and how you can add massive value to their life at the forefront of everything you're doing and just have great conversations with the idea that there's potential for it to go to a Juice Plus conversation, either product or business, and have a couple of questions that you can ask Gary that know what your next step's going to be, but it isn't always going to work every single time. But if you do this enough, you don't think about the conversations that don't work.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up because it's been an hour, a little more than an hour, about an hour since we started. And this is what your assignment is going to be this week. Now, this week, I want you to be intentional about these conversations, okay? In regard to the fact that you're going to set a goal for yourself about how many you have every day or for the week. You want to have 3 a week, you want to have 5 a week, you want to have 2 a day. And you're going to go and have these conversations where you're going to ask a minimum of 5 questions, just have a great conversation and see where it goes. I want you to keep track of these conversations, and I want you to come back and tell me how many of them turned into Juice Plus conversations and what you did, what your next step was. And the easiest thing is to get them to text their number and send them your mobile business card. Okay? So last week you just asked questions. Now we're going to be more intentional. How many contacts are you making? How many conversations are you going to have? And when they do turn into Juice Plus conversations, you're going to take it to the next step. Get them to give you their number so you can send them your mobile business card. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's wrap it up then. It has been a long night, long week, long month. On to conference. Here we go.
Alicia, one thing I'll just throw in really quick is when you get to the point that you're listening to them instead of, that rat or chatter going on in your head about what am I going to say next, or, thinking about yourself, if you're just focused on them, you can hear when they get passion in their voice. Yeah. And that's one thing I think going through all this exercise really helped me with. That was one of my biggest ahas. Right. Is as I'm talking to people, when I start to hear passion in their voice, you've hit on something. And that's where you want to dig deeper.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, this thing I just did with Doreen reminds me of the kind of conversations I had in the beginning that were really difficult. And I was sitting here thinking, what am I going to say next? Because I was trying to make it go somewhere. Right.
Right.
So had I not been doing this for you guys, I would have been like, okay, it's not going anywhere, no big deal. Mm-hmm. You know, I would just been concerned about her and asked her questions. Some of the things I said I wouldn't have ever said in a different situation if I was just, you know, having a conversation that I was fishing and it wasn't going anywhere. But I was trying to force it into becoming something. And when we do that, that's when they feel yucky. That's when, you know, that we don't want to do that. That's not what we want to do. We just want to go genuinely be concerned, care, ask questions, find a need if there's a need, and be ready to make the next step if there's an opportunity. And that's it. So thanks for playing along, Doreen. That was fun. Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.